Today we're talking about something you probably eat every single day without thinking twice about it: fruit. Yeah, that colorful, juicy stuff sitting in your kitchen bowl right now. You think you know fruit? Think again. We've got 20 absolutely mind-blowing facts that are going to change the way you look at your next snack forever. From bananas that are technically radioactive, to strawberries that aren't even real berries, buckle up, because the fruit world is way stranger than you'd expect. Make sure you stick around to the end, because fact number 20 is genuinely one of the most bizarre things I've ever come across. And if you're new here, welcome. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button so you never miss content like this. Alright, let's get into it. Fact number 1. Strawberries are not berries. Let's kick things off with one that's going to break your brain a little. Strawberries are not actually berries. Botanically speaking, a true berry is a fruit that develops from a single flower with one ovary. Strawberries. They develop from a flower with multiple ovaries, which technically makes them what botanists call an aggregate fruit. Here's where it gets even weirder: bananas are berries. So are avocados. And watermelons. Basically, everything you thought was a berry isn't, and everything you never thought was a berry totally is. The strawberry's actual fruit are those tiny little seed-like dots on the outside called achenes. Each one of those is a separate fruit. The big red juicy part we eat is technically just enlarged flower tissue. Delicious botanical deception at its finest. Fact number 2, bananas are slightly radioactive. Okay, don't freak out, but your banana is radioactive. Bananas contain a naturally occurring isotope called potassium-40, which is a radioactive form of potassium. Because bananas are so rich in potassium, they emit a tiny amount of radiation. Scientists even have an informal unit of measurement called the banana equivalent dose, or BED, used to help people understand low levels of radiation exposure. Eating one banana exposes you to about 0.1 microsieverts of radiation. For context, a chest X-ray is about 100 microsieverts, so we're talking extraordinarily small amounts. Your body naturally handles and expels this potassium constantly, so there's absolutely zero health risk. You'd need to eat millions of bananas in a very short time to notice any negative effect. Which, honestly, sounds like a different kind of problem entirely. Fact number 3. Apples are more effective than coffee. If you're reaching for a cup of coffee to wake yourself up in the morning, you might want to grab an apple instead. Apples contain natural sugars, primarily fructose, along with a rich blend of fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants that provide a slow, steady release of energy throughout the morning. Coffee gives you that sharp spike of caffeine that hits fast and fades fast, often leaving you with a crash. An apple's natural sugars are absorbed more gradually thanks to the fiber content, which means your energy boost lasts longer without the jitteriness. There's even some evidence that the scent of apples alone can have alerting properties. Some studies suggest that participants who smelled green apples reported reduced feelings of anxiety and a sharper sense of focus. So next time you're dragging in the morning, maybe reach for the fruit bowl before the coffee pot. Fact number 4. Pineapples take nearly 3 years to grow. Here's one that'll make you appreciate your next pina colada a whole lot more. A single pineapple plant takes anywhere from 18 months to nearly 3 years to produce just one fruit. That's right, one pineapple. 2 to 3 years of growing. Pineapples are bromeliads, a family of tropical plants, and they grow from the center of a rosette of spiky leaves. The fruit develops slowly from a cluster of flowers that fuse together, which is why a pineapple's surface has that distinctive pattern of eyes. Each eye is actually the remnant of an individual flower. After that first fruit is harvested, the plant can produce a second and sometimes even third pineapple from offshoots called ratoons. but each subsequent fruit takes additional growing time. So the next time someone complains about the price of fresh pineapple, you can nod knowingly and say, yeah, it took 3 years. Fact number 5. Watermelon is 92% water. This one kind of makes sense given the name, but the numbers are still staggering. Watermelons are approximately 92% water. That's nearly a full glass of water in every slice you eat. Which is why they've been used for centuries in hot climates as a hydration source. Interestingly, the entire watermelon is edible, including the rind. The green outer shell and white inner rind are loaded with a compound called citrulline, which has been studied for its potential benefits for blood flow and muscle recovery. In many parts of the world, people stir-fry, pickle, or stew the rind as a common ingredient. Watermelons were even placed in the tombs of ancient Egyptian kings as a food source for the afterlife, with evidence of cultivation dating back over 5,000 years. From ancient pharaohs to modern backyard barbecues, watermelon has truly stood the test of time. Fact number 6. The fear of fruit is a real phobia. It sounds like something made up, but fruitophobia, the fear of fruit, is an actual, documented phobia. While rare, people who suffer from it experience genuine anxiety, panic, and distress at the sight, smell, or thought of fruit. It can be so severe that it significantly impacts daily life and diet. The phobia may stem from a traumatic childhood experience involving fruit, an extreme sensitivity to texture or smell, or even a misunderstood form of orthorexia, an obsession with eating only safe foods. In some cases, it's linked to a broader condition called ARFID, or avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. Treatment usually involves cognitive behavioral therapy and gradual exposure techniques. It's a great reminder that our relationship with food, even something as wholesome and natural as fruit, can be deeply complex and emotionally charged for some people. Fact number 7. Grapes explode in the microwave. Please, for the love of your microwave, do not try this at home, but if you cut a grape almost in half, leaving just a thin skin connecting the two halves, and put it in the microwave, it will produce a burst of plasma. Literal plasma. The fourth state of matter, in your kitchen. For years, this was a well-known internet trick, but the physics behind it were debated. Scientists finally confirmed the mechanism in 2019. The grape halves act like antennae that focus microwave energy into a tiny hotspot. The water and electrolytes inside heat so rapidly that a small ball of plasma erupts at the junction. It's a good example of how fruit chemistry and physics intersect in unexpected ways. The same principles have been studied in relation to understanding electromagnetic hotspots and microwave behavior. But again, don't try it. You will almost certainly damage your microwave and potentially start a small fire. Fact number 8. Mangoes are related to poison ivy. Here's one that will make your skin crawl, literally, possibly. Mangoes belong to the family Anacardiaceae, which also includes poison ivy, poison oak, and poison sumac. This means mangoes contain trace amounts of urushiol, the same compound responsible for those itchy, blistering rashes from poison ivy. The urushiol in mangoes is concentrated mostly in the skin and the sap of the tree. Most people have no reaction at all to eating mango flesh. But people who are highly sensitive to poison ivy may experience a contact rash around the mouth after eating mango skin, or when handling the fruit directly. This cross-reactivity is called mango dermatitis, and it's a documented condition. Cashews and pistachios are also in the same plant family, which is why some people who are allergic to one of these may have reactions to others. The more you know about your tropical fruits, the more complicated they become. Fact number 9. Avocados are a fruit. We already know avocados are technically berries, but here's an even wilder fact. Avocados nearly went extinct thousands of years ago, and the reason they survived is genuinely fascinating. The avocado evolved alongside giant animals, like giant ground sloths and mastodons, which would eat the whole fruit and disperse the large seeds through their droppings. When these megafauna went extinct roughly 10,000 years ago, the avocado lost its primary seed dispersers. The seeds are too large for most modern animals to swallow and pass. Essentially, avocados should have gone extinct, but humans stepped in. Indigenous peoples of Central America began cultivating and spreading avocado trees, effectively saving the species. This makes the avocado what scientists call an evolutionary anachronism, a fruit out of time, biologically designed for a world that no longer exists. Every time you enjoy guacamole, you're eating a fruit that survived extinction thanks to human agriculture. That's a lot of pressure on a bowl of chips and dip. Fact number 10. Tomatoes are legally fruit and vegetables. The tomato debate is one of the oldest in the food world. Botanically, a tomato is 100% a fruit. It develops from the flower of the plant and contains seeds. But in 1893, the United States Supreme Court ruled that the tomato should be classified as a vegetable for trade and tariff purposes. The case was Nix versus Hedden, and it came down to how tomatoes are actually used in everyday cooking, as a savory ingredient alongside vegetables, not as a sweet dessert fruit. The court acknowledged the botanical reality but ruled based on culinary common use. It's one of the stranger Supreme Court cases in American history. So the tomato holds this unique dual status, scientifically a fruit, legally a vegetable. The European Union has gone back and forth on this classification as well. The real lesson here? Science and law don't always agree, and tomatoes have been causing arguments for well over a century. Fact number 11. Some fruits can keep your Jell-O from setting. If you've ever tried to make Jell-O with fresh pineapple, kiwi, papaya, or mango and had it fail to set, now you know why. These fruits contain powerful proteolytic enzymes that break down the protein chains in gelatin before they can form a solid structure. In pineapple, this enzyme is called bromelain. Bromelain is so effective at breaking down protein that it's used as a meat tenderizer, in dietary supplements, and even in some medical treatments. When you eat fresh pineapple, bromelain begins digesting the proteins in your mouth, which is why eating a lot of fresh pineapple can actually make your tongue feel raw and slightly sore. The fix for Jell-O is simple. Use canned versions of these fruits instead of fresh. The canning process involves heat treatment, which deactivates the enzymes. But the existence of bromelain is a great reminder that fruit isn't just passive food. It's full of biologically active compounds that interact with our bodies in real, measurable ways. Fact number 12. The world's most expensive fruit can cost $45,000. You heard that right. Yubari king melons, a variety of cantaloupe grown exclusively in Yubari, Japan, have sold at auction for as much as $45,000 for a pair. These melons are grown with extraordinary care. Each one is given its own net hammock to prevent bruising, wrapped in protective foam, and grown in greenhouses with precise temperature and humidity controls. Japanese fruit culture treats premium fruit as a luxury gift item, similar to fine wine or jewelry in Western cultures. Perfectly symmetrical, blemish-free fruit with exact sweetness levels is considered an art form. High-end Japanese fruit shops sell individually wrapped strawberries for $10 a piece and white strawberries for even more. The Yubari King melons are prized for their exceptionally smooth rind, perfectly round shape, and extraordinarily sweet, creamy flesh. They're typically given as corporate gifts or status symbols, not just eaten casually. It's a fascinating window into how culture transforms something as ordinary as a melon into an object of luxury and prestige. Fact number 13. Bananas are clones. Almost every banana you've ever eaten is genetically identical to every other banana you've ever eaten. The variety sold in grocery stores worldwide, the Cavendish banana, is propagated through cuttings and offshoots rather than seeds. That means every Cavendish banana plant is essentially a clone of the original. This is a massive agricultural problem. Because there's no genetic diversity, if a disease can infect one Cavendish plant, it can potentially infect all of them. And that's exactly what happened before. In the mid-20th century, the world's dominant banana variety, the Gros Michel, was nearly wiped out by a fungal disease called Panama disease. The Cavendish replaced it. Now, the Cavendish is under threat from a new strain of the same fungus, tropical race 4. Scientists and agricultural researchers are working urgently to develop resistant varieties or genetically engineer solutions before the banana as we know it disappears. The humble banana sits at the center of one of the most pressing challenges in modern agriculture. Fact number 14. Durian is banned in many public spaces. Durian is a large, spiky tropical fruit native to Southeast Asia, and it is famous, or rather, infamous, for its smell. The odor has been described as a combination of rotten onions, gym socks, turpentine, and raw sewage. It is so overwhelmingly pungent that durian is banned from hotels, airports, hospitals, and public transportation across much of Southeast Asia. Signs prohibiting durian are common sights in Singapore, Thailand, and Malaysia. Despite its smell, durian is considered a delicacy and is called the king of fruits in many Southeast Asian cultures. The taste is reportedly rich, custard-like, and sweet, a complete contrast to the smell. Scientists have actually studied the chemical compounds behind durian's odor and identified dozens of volatile sulfur compounds as the main culprits. Interestingly, these same compounds are at such low concentrations inside the fruit that they contribute to the complex flavor. But once the fruit is open, the combination becomes overpowering. It remains one of the most polarizing foods on Earth. Fact number 15. Fruit can ripen each other through invisible gas. Fruits communicate with each other using a gas called ethylene. As fruit ripens, it releases ethylene, which signals neighboring fruit to start the ripening process too. This is how one bad apple really does spoil the bunch. This is also the science behind the old trick of putting an unripe avocado in a paper bag with a banana. The banana releases ethylene, the bag traps it, and the avocado ripens faster. Fruit growers and grocery distributors use ethylene control extensively, storing apples in low ethylene environments to keep them fresh for months, or using ethylene gas chambers to ripen bananas right before they hit store shelves. The ethylene system is ancient. It evolved in plants long before humans existed as a way to coordinate seed dispersal. When a fruit ripens and becomes sweet and fragrant, it's essentially broadcasting a signal to animals. Come eat me, and spread my seeds. We've just learned to listen to, and manipulate, that invisible chemical conversation. The entire global fruit industry runs on understanding and controlling this one simple gas. Fact number 16. Oranges are not naturally orange. Here's a color-bending fact for you. In many tropical countries, ripe oranges are actually green. The orange color we associate with the fruit only develops when the fruit is exposed to cool temperatures, which breaks down the green chlorophyll in the skin. In warm climates near the equator, like Thailand, Vietnam, and parts of Brazil, oranges stay green on the outside even when they're perfectly ripe and sweet on the inside. Oranges sold in Western grocery stores are often treated with ethylene gas. Sound familiar? Or sometimes dyed to achieve that consistent orange color consumers expect. The color on the outside tells you almost nothing about the sweetness or ripeness of the fruit inside. It's essentially a cosmetic standard that we've mistaken for a natural one. This is a broader pattern in the food industry. We've been conditioned to associate certain colors with ripeness and quality in ways that were engineered by marketing and supply chains, not by nature. The perfectly orange orange at your grocery store? It may have needed a little artificial help to look that way. Fact number 17. Lemons are a human-made hybrid. Lemons don't exist in the wild. They are a hybrid fruit created, accidentally, most likely, by humans thousands of years ago. Modern genetic analysis suggests lemons are a cross between a sour orange and a citron, two ancient fruits native to South and Southeast Asia. The lemon as we know it was probably first cultivated somewhere in the region of northeastern India or northern Myanmar. In fact, a huge portion of the citrus fruits we eat today are hybrids. Grapefruits are a cross between a pomelo and a sweet orange. Tangerines, clementines, and limes all have similarly tangled genetic histories. Pure, wild, citrus ancestors are quite different from anything sitting in your fruit bowl. The citrus family tree is one of the most genetically complex and human-influenced in all of agriculture. Thousands of years of selective cultivation, cross-pollination, and trade along ancient spice routes gave us the citrus variety we enjoy today. So the next time you squeeze lemon over your fish, know that you're using a fruit that literally would not exist without human intervention. Fact number 18. Cranberries are harvested by flooding fields. If you've ever seen footage of those vivid red bogs at harvest time, you already know cranberry harvesting is one of the most visually striking agricultural processes on Earth. Cranberry farmers deliberately flood their fields with water during harvest season. The cranberries float to the surface, because they have air pockets inside, and harvesters use a special machine called an egg beater to agitate the water and loosen the berries from the vines. The result is a sea of deep red cranberries stretching as far as the eye can see, with workers and waiters corralling the berries toward a conveyor. It looks almost too beautiful to be a farming operation. The process is called wet harvesting, and it's both efficient and photogenic. Cranberries are one of only 3 fruits native to North America commercially grown at scale, the other 2 being blueberries and Concord grapes. Indigenous peoples of North America used cranberries as food, dye, and medicine long before European settlers arrived. Today, the U.S. produces nearly 60% of the world's cranberry supply, mostly in Wisconsin and Massachusetts. Fact number 19. Some fruits glow under ultraviolet light. Pull out a UV black light and shine it on certain fruits, and you'll see something genuinely eerie: they glow. Certain compounds in fruit skin, particularly in citrus peels, fluoresce brightly under ultraviolet light. Bananas develop bright blue glowing spots as they ripen due to the breakdown of chlorophyll into fluorescent compounds. Fully ripe bananas glow with an intensity that increases as they mature. Scientists believe this UV fluorescence may actually serve a biological purpose. Many birds and insects can see into the ultraviolet spectrum, something humans cannot do with the naked eye. A fruit that glows under UV may be more visible and attractive to the animals that help disperse its seeds. The ripeness signal we see as yellow-brown speckles might look like a bright neon beacon to a bird. This is a reminder that fruits didn't evolve for us. They evolved in a world full of creatures with very different sensory systems. What a fruit looks like depends entirely on who's doing the looking, and there's a whole visual dimension to the natural world that we simply can't perceive without tools. Fact number 20. The fig is full of wasps. We saved one of the most unsettling facts for last. Figs and wasps have one of the most intimate and ancient symbiotic relationships in the natural world, going back roughly 80 million years. The inside of a fig is not actually a fruit in the conventional sense. It's an inverted flower structure called a syconium. And in many wild fig species, it's pollinated exclusively by a specific species of tiny fig wasp. Here's how it works. A female fig wasp crawls inside a developing fig through a tiny opening, lays her eggs inside, and pollinates the flowers in the process. She often loses her wings and antennae squeezing through the entrance and dies inside the fig. The fig then produces an enzyme called ficain that digests her body entirely. The eggs hatch, male wasps mate with females inside the fig, and the females escape carrying pollen to the next fig. Commercial figs sold in stores are typically a variety called the brown turkey or similar cultivars that don't require wasp pollination. They're self-fertile. So the figs you eat are most likely wasp-free. But wild figs? That's a whole different story. The fig-wasp relationship is considered one of the most extraordinary examples of co-evolution on Earth, and it's been going strong since before dinosaurs went extinct. And there you have it, 20 facts about fruit that you definitely didn't know this morning. From plasma grapes to $45,000 melons to bananas slowly going extinct, the world of fruit is genuinely one of the most surprising places in all of nature. If you learned something new today, drop it in the comments. I'd love to know which fact hit you the hardest. Thanks for watching, and go eat some fruit. It's full of surprises.